When I was young, I remember 3 garbage bags on my dresser, filled with clothes in the darkness of night. Each one became a monster inside. They moved, they were coming to get me. Fear elevated, I couldn't breathe freely. I hid underneath those covers so tight, terrified of what I saw in the night. I knew during the day what they were, just bags full of clothes, nothing more. But when the darkness came around, those bags became monsters without a sound. Monsters at night, monsters in my head. Fear beside me while I lay in my bed. I feared the shadows, I feared what I saw, but I couldn't understand what I feared him for. Child sees monsters where fear takes flight, trying to make sense of the darkness at night. The bags weren't monsters, they were only clothes, but a child doesn't always know where the real monster goes. Oh, how scary the monsters on my dresser were. When my real monster lived downstairs, that's for sure. In the apartment directly down below, he did to me what a child should never know. During the day he was a monster to me, and at night in my dreams that's what he'd be. Still a monster he remained, unable to shapeshift, unable to change. My abuser was a human, my babysitter's teenage son, and I was only a child trying to understand what had been done. Monsters at night, monsters in my head. Fear beside me while I lay in my bed. I feared the shadows, I feared what I saw, but I couldn't understand what I feared him for. Child sees monsters where fear takes flight, trying to make sense of the darkness at night. The bags weren't monsters, they were only clothes, but a child doesn't always know where the real monster goes. Seems I would rather be afraid of the bags of clothes than accept the truth that a child couldn't know. A real monster lived directly below, while I hid from the shadows that seemed to grow. Sleeping soundly while I feared the bag. My little mind didn't know what it had. 3 bags of clothes became something alive, while the real monster was still outside. Real monsters are humans, that's what I learned later on. The monster in my imagination was something completely wrong. It wasn't claws, it wasn't teeth, it wasn't something underneath. It was only a garbage bag filled with clothes, standing there in the night, while I hid below my covers, trying to make things right. Monsters at night, monsters in my head. 3 garbage bags beside my bed. I was just a child, afraid of the night, trying to understand what didn't feel right. The bags weren't monsters, they never monster who lives below. Real monsters are human.